All right, everybody, and welcome to the Good Dinosaur second trailer
Second
hangout,
full-length
second
trailer.
full-length trailer hangout with TJ and
Julie?
from Pixar Post. And this time we're going to go through, as of course you could imagine, the trailer again. We're going to look at all the different things, the different scenes from it. We're going to talk about our favorite moments. And of course, what would a hangout be if we weren't joined by some special guests? So along with us this time, we've got a couple more than we got actually a total of three additional. So we are joined by, as always, Dan, the Pixar fan. So go ahead and say hello, Dan.
Hello, hello, everybody.
Yes, yes. And then we are also joined by Giovanni. So say hello, Giovanni.
Good evening, everybody.
Yes, hello, hello. We'll get into some more of the background of everybody here in just a second. And then, of course, as always, Jeff from This Day in Pixar is with us. Say hello, Jeff.
Hey, how's it going?
Excellent, excellent. So thanks again for everybody joining us. I'm sure we're going to have some fun discussions as we go back and forth with our thoughts on the trailer. Also, we have some people that have left comments on the post as well as in the forum already that we did from earlier today, and I took some notes of those. So we're going to be able to talk through some of their reactions as well as some of the things that maybe they weren't sure about yet. So we'll talk about some of those. And as always, as we're going along, I point down here, and if you have any questions or comments along the way, we absolutely love to hear them and encourage you to submit them. Just use the hashtag GoodDinoPP for Pixar Post, and Julie will be monitoring that throughout the Hangout.
Yes, I'm doing tweets right now.
She's doing tweets currently. So if you're out there and if you want to say hello, we'd love it too. Just even say hello. Let us know who's out there using GoodDinoPP on Twitter, or if you're watching this directly on YouTube, you can ask your questions directly in the comments there. You can send us an email, info@pixarpost.com, and we'll be monitoring all the different channels. Or of course, if you're watching on Google Plus, you can leave your comments right in here as well, and we'll grab those too. All right, so now that the trailer had come out early this morning on Good Morning America. I actually don't know the official time that it aired. I know it was somewhere between like that 8 and 9 a.m. Did you guys happen to catch it when it was actually live or anything?
No, I got it right when it went up online, actually. I was at work sneaking it.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of did the same thing there. I saw the email come through from the Disney Pixar YouTube channel and grabbed that immediately. And because we knew it was coming, we had already kind of had the post prepared, so that way we could drop the trailer in and get it out there and start spreading the word because we were really excited for it.
Yep.
And then it threw another little wrench in the thing too. We were all getting ready to go to bed last night, and our friend Paulina reached out to us and said, hey, there's a new TV spot that was part of the Big Bang Theory show last night. So check that out. And, of course, I go running into the other room. We turn it on, and, of course, gave a little bit of a preview of what was in this trailer with Forrest Woodbush, a.k.a. the Shaman, where it did like a little quick thing about the naming of spots. So we had to do a quick post on that last night. So it was a late night. It was always exciting when it comes to Pixar and these types of things when they come up, when new trailers show up.
And TV spots, like you said, this is like the most fun time. This is like right before the movie hits.
I know we've got like 2 solid months of getting excited for products. You can see a little Arlo there. There's a Butch head behind me over here. Forrest Woodbush is behind Julie, I believe. Yep. So we've got a couple of them around, and Spot is hidden in right here too. So he's on the shelf as well. So okay, initial thoughts on the trailer. Let's just start right there. When you saw the trailer, what'd you think?
Well, you guys say first. You're our guest.
All right, so then we'll go right over to Jeff. Jeff, start us off. What were your initial thoughts when you first saw it?
I just am still really excited for the movie. After the first trailer, I was really excited, and this one just continues that, excitement for me. It looks like there's going to be some great emotion. I'm still so impressed by the sets and the environment, and it's just a brilliant looking film.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that if there's anything that can be said about it that nobody has any problems with, it is the sets, it's the look, it's everything. I'm not saying that everybody has that there are major problems with the film at all, but certainly from the look of it, everybody is just immediately over the top on the image and how everything comes across. So Giovanni, how about yourself? What did you think about the film from an art student perspective? Because you're an animation student.
Yes. I again the sets and everything, just the rendered complete rendered look of everything is wonderful, and I'm really it's been I'll watch them a second time just to watch the character acting, and everything just seems really up to par, and you know we haven't really seen a lot of like 3D dinos in a long time. Definitely interesting to see them. The character acting is so well. I'm really excited to see all the characters, just different ways they interact, how I don't know. But I'm trying to think of other things that I saw.
Don't worry
Just
about it
excited
now.
to see other characters. I don't know.
Yeah, we've got a ton to talk about, but I'm glad you brought up the
Yeah.
character acting, because that's something that I wanted to talk about, because there was a couple moments specifically that really caught my eye.
Me too.
And wanted your input on it. So that'll be cool. So then, Dan, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant. I want to echo what they said as well, because obviously they hit on some really good points. Really classy. I loved, obviously, the animation, as always. I loved the whole feel that it gave. I loved seeing scenes that we had seen previously kind of expanded upon. And I just love what they're going for, because ever since I heard they were making a good dinosaur, or Pixar was making a dinosaur movie, I had this kind of image in my mind of what that would be like, and it's pretty much capturing what I hoped for so far from what I've seen, and I'm really excited about it.
That's awesome. I like that you had it kind of like in your mind, and now it's kind of coming to fruition as what it seemed it might be.
Yeah, really, because I thought Pixar and dinosaurs mesh so well together, and when I heard that, I was like, yeah, why has that not been done so far? It just seemed like a perfect match, and I think they really hit the nail on the head from what I've seen.
Well, I think I can safely say that everybody that's on this panel is excited about the fact that dinosaurs are just included just right off the bat. Forget that it's anything. It's exciting that dinosaurs in animation form are on the screen again. It's been at least over a decade, I think, since something major has hit.
Yeah, 100%. Great.
Yeah. So, all right, Julie, what were your thoughts?
I really enjoyed this trailer. I feel like the editors that chose this really showcased a great work, and I loved how the trailer was bookend by by kind of something treacherous in the beginning, and then it kind of got lighthearted, then it kind of got a little hairy, and then emotional, and bookended by a storm at the very end. I thought that was very smart, and it made me, I'm trying to find the words, it made me really excited and nervous for the characters. I thought it was just a very, very smart trailer without showing a ton of clips to really kind of draw your attention.
Yeah, no, and I absolutely agree. I know that you're probably trying to be careful with your words a little bit too.
Yeah, I am, because I was at the press day, so I can't say things until the end of the week.
Yeah, so there are certain things that everybody can stay tuned to our site for, because as of the 8th, we'll be able to start talking about the press day, start revealing some of the interviews that you had, as well as some of the extra details that were out there. So just so you know, that's if
So I'm trying to say stuff, but I don't want to say stuff.
Yeah, say it without saying it.
Yeah.
So I actually... Go ahead, Dan.
I was just saying, I agree. I mean, I've seen a couple clips at D23, and I have a general sense of the story. But from the trailer, I still don't feel like I have the whole thing, and I like that. I like that it's still kind of hazy for me. I don't really know the entire plot, and I don't feel like the trailer, kind of like what you were saying, I don't feel like it gave too much away, and I kind of like that. I like going in a bit more fresh this time around.
Yeah, I actually really like that too, because I feel like obviously with the breadth of trailers that come out, and we talked about it before we even went live here, is that there's a Brazilian trailer now. So if anybody listening hasn't seen that, it is out there, but we will certainly pre-warn you that there are spoilers in it for sure. There's some bigger items that are given away. So if you have not seen that and you're avoiding any spoilers, avoid, I would say from now on, avoid trailers if you're trying to do that, but certainly any of the international trailers, they always give away more than the domestic trailers do. So we're not going to talk about that today. Originally, I thought we were going to bring it up and talk about it and go through and show the trailer, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody if you're trying to do that. I didn't want to go there. So if you have seen today's trailer, that's where we're going to stick with it. So that's good. So I should say today's domestic trailer. So how's about, of the trailer, what was the first thing, the one particular moment that would be your favorite? And we'll kind of sprinkle this throughout, but I just want to start on Giovanni's standpoint and see if there was one moment that really, truly captured you when you saw it.
I know it sounds really funny, but Forrest Bush's part just got me for some reason. I just have been, I don't know, I've been waiting for that character for so long. I heard a little bit about the character at D23, and I was trying to, you know, what kind of is going to be? Pete Someone was talking, I thought maybe a very mystic character, very mentor-y type of character somewhat, but just totally surprised me. I love when I watch a trailer and it totally takes me off guard like that, and to see him like that just be a very comedic one. I know that was one of my favorite parts of it.
All right, well, that's awesome. So let's talk about Forrest Woodbush, because obviously he was the biggest character that was probably revealed in this trailer, not just in size, but the fact that we I know we haven't seen that much of him before. I mean, obviously there's been some stills that were released and those types of things, but we haven't heard his voice before this and the TV spot the evening before. But so, Jeff, is this your first take on Forrest Woodbush, and what were your thoughts as far as hearing his voice and some of the jokes that were going back and forth with I Name Him, I Keep Him?
Yeah, it was my first time seeing him. How do you know his name? Sorry, I don't remember if they said it.
Oh, so when they released the plush toys, it actually says his name on the tag. So that's there. He was also in the Subway promotional items that were given out. He was listed as Shaman on that.
Yeah, okay.
But on all the action figures, the Disney Store and the Tomy toys, it is Forrest Woodbush.
Okay. So I've tried to stay away from a lot of that, and like even today's trailer, I've only seen it maybe a couple of times. So I love the jokes. I thought that was so funny, the naming and the names that he was coming up with, right? Was it Killer and Lunatic? And
yeah, Killer, Violet, Lunatic.
Yeah, I just thought it was great. So, yeah, I think he's going to be a really fun character.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was some people that were saying in the forum that they were like, you know, in fact, forum user Peace Love Pixar says, boy, he really didn't like Forrest Woodbush. And I was shocked because I thought it was going to be one of those immediate ones that everybody was going to gravitate towards, because not only does he look, if you ask me, he looks amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love the detail. I love the fact that he looks like a dinosaur. He might be like a white birch tree, and he's got all these other kind of like elements to him with like the knots and the eyes. I love all those different things and all the critters that are on him. I think there's a lot that's there. So I was kind of surprised hearing that. Did either? Oh,
I wish this trailer came out on the 8th so I could talk more about this. Talk more about the characters.
Yeah. So I guess just, you know, Dan, Jeff, you said you liked it right off the bat, but Dan, how about you? Did you have any type of concern as far as when you saw Forrest?
No, absolutely not. I mean, what we've seen is a 10-second or less clip of him. I can definitely not make any judgment on the character as a whole yet, and I don't have any problem with what I've seen so far. So I think he's going to be a fun character.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't have any problem. I mean, his voice sounded kind of kooky, and his look looks great. I mean, he has all those kooky creatures on him. Like, and what's not to like?
All right. So since you brought up his voice, Giovanni happened to be texting us earlier and asked a certain question. What was that question, Giovanni?
I said, "Was that Pete Sohn voicing Forrest?" First thing I heard was his voice. I was so excited, and I had to ask. I'm like, "You heard it, right? You heard it."
And absolutely, yeah. Pete Sohn, a little bit of Forrest Woodbush there.
Is it?
Yep.
Sure sounds like him.
I thought that too. I hadn't heard an official casting announcement, but I thought that sounded like him.
Well, we have to, you know, it's the first thing that everybody kind of heard. You know,
Yeah.
we all kind of heard it and said, "Hey, wait a minute, is that what it is?"
Yeah.
So I was glad when Giovanni reaffirmed that for me by texting it to me earlier, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, so there we go." So I thought that was a fun little thing to notice from the trailer there, and you can hear if you play it back again, you can really hear it, especially when he gets to like this higher register. But yeah,
you start hearing that raspy little high, yeah, and you can hear the Pete
you're right.
tone. It was interesting too because I heard that voice, and it was funny because when I thought of another sort of Pixar employee voice before we knew about Forrest's actual like personality, I almost like imagined like Bud Lucky's voice coming out of him, like this sort of deep kind of gravelly voice, but then totally like opposite. We have Pete Sohn, which I love for some reason. He's great. So.
Yeah, that's interesting because I don't know if I would have thought about what type of voice he had. I know we talked before on one of the Hangouts that he was going to be this wise yet kind of kooky guy that we kind of pegged as like a Rafiki type character.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he kind of has like a little bit of like a kookier, lighter-hearted voice. So maybe in my mind that was why it was potentially already in that kind of realm. But I was certainly surprised by it. I didn't know how he was gonna, you know, how it was. When I heard it at first, I was like, wait, and then it kind of came to me, and I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So, but one other comment about the wise thing, real quick, is Reptile Patrol, also on the forum, mentioned that he also didn't like Forrest just because he thought that he was supposed to be wise, but he's coming across as a lunatic. So I kind of have to go with what Dan was saying here before, too. We've only seen like 10 to 12 seconds of him so far. I don't want to make that judgment that he may not be wise yet, or that he might, you know, I mean, Rafiki came across like a fool, but he was supposed to be like...
If you only saw a trailer with 10 seconds of Rafiki's kookiness, then like you would have the same feelings, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think there's a lot to this character we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, okay, so the consensus here is that we're all on the same page. We're excited about Forrest Woodbush. And I'm going to tell you, his look alone.
One of my favorite character designs.
Can I do a toy plug right now?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I love this. This is kind of related, kind of not. But the action figure from Tomy, I'm excited for it. So the action figure comes with one of his critters that you see in the movie, because you see all these critters that flock to him. And each action figure from the Tomy line for the Good Dinosaur comes with a critter. And you can collect the critters and put the critters on top of Forrest there. So you have to get all the figures to collect all the critters. And I thought that was kind of a cool thing. And I will be doing that for sure.
That is absolutely one of the coolest parts. And if you notice that all of a sudden, poof, Julie's gone, we may or may not be going to get that character to show the critters on his head. So we'll get a sneak peek of your toy preview, Dan.
There you go.
So yeah, it's an awesome thing, and as much as it's a ploy to get you to buy, not a ploy, but like an exciting thing to keep. It's as a collector. I know Dan, you and I love it.
Yep.
To collect them all, and then you have to keep getting all these little things. But here, I'll first start by just giving like a little bit of a look at Forrest here. So look at all those crazy. Let's see if we can get it to. Yeah, here. Like, look at all these crazy details on him.
That is so awesome.
I know, it's like super cool. Like all the different like knots in him and everything. It's really cool. So he's a super cool character. And then as far as the
Do not say any names.
Oh, as far as the critters, I can say the critters.
Yeah.
As far as the critters, you know, like Dan was saying, they all just fit on his horns.
Yeah, that's great. I'm glad you have a visual representation here, because that's exactly what I was talking about.
Yeah, so what happens is as you buy each subsequent Good Dinosaur toy in the Tomy line,
Right,
it comes with it comes with a varying critter. I probably won't focus at this point because there's too much of me over to the side, but it comes with each of these little critters that you can just keep getting, and then it fills out the rest of Forest. So it's a really, really cool toy. Definitely can't recommend getting this one enough. The Disney Store version is super cool as well, but that's not why we're here. I should stop myself now, or I won't stop
This will
because.
just be a toy ad.
Right. But definitely, Forest, get him. So okay, so that's kind of our thoughts on Forest there. So then that was who said that? Was that Giovanni that you said that was your favorite part, or that kind of caught your eye?
Yeah, that was mine. Yeah.
Okay, so how about Dan? Was there a favorite part of the trailer that kind of got you and was like, whoa? Uh-oh. Did we freeze on anybody? We'll have to see what's going on here in a second here.
Yeah, maybe lost Dan.
Yeah, so how about you, Jeff? Was there a favorite part that kind of caught your eye?
Boy, that opening scene with Arlo and Papa, and with the storm and everything, there's just so much. I mean, it was new footage for me. I had never seen any of that before. And again, just the environments and the rain and the way the character animation of them walking together, and just the emotion of it then with, Arlo left alone in the, when he's by himself in the canyon or whatever. And you can see the water reflecting off the stone walls there, and it was just like, wow.
All right, so let's just take a look at it here, because we definitely need to go through some of the trailer and see some of this. So here, when it got...
I still laugh at this scene right here, right? Right? Every time I just kind of giggle.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely a great little gag for sure. So, okay, so yeah. I think we've gone far enough. Let's get you home, or get you back.
Yeah.
And then, so, okay. One of the things that I realized back here, where we see his dad with Papa, I'm just going to kind of advance through some of these different screens. Look how awesome that rain is coming over his shoulder and into the camera area there.
Yeah. There was a lot of good, I thought, camera work on this trailer. Oh my god. I mean, there was on the previous trailer too. But I noticed some really great camera work on this one, I thought.
Absolutely. I love the ominous nature of the water rising, and then the crazy, like, this is the part where you go, oh no, where you see it round in that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of where it'll lead into, first off, gorgeous with the water going here.
Yeah.
And this is one of the moments that I wanted to get Giovanni's perspective on, because there was this where you see Arlo, where you see Papa, he's run Arlo. I love the fact that when you watch it in full speed, you see his nose quiver a little. You see his eyes go from like one being a little smaller than the other. And then you see him, oh God, it's just, I love that. So I'm going to actually stop.
It's really funny you brought up that shot of Papa, yelling, is one of my favorite parts. I'm glad that it's something that's come up in each trailer, because it's a really just a quick shot I like to watch, because you are watching the shot that really just makes it shine. But you're right, with the nostrils, it's a shot you can, polishes everything with animation. That's just really that final pop that you need, and that job right there definitely does.
Yeah.
In that same scene, I also like how the animators make you feel how heavy that Papa is when he's walking. If you look, I mean, it would be easy to, I think that's a hard thing to do, is how do you get a computer dinosaur to look like it weighs thousands of pounds?
You're talking about when he's walking
right before this
scene. Right before this part.
Mm-hmm. And he's walking, and you can feel how his skin moves on his back.
Yeah.
You feel the weight of him moving.
Yeah, like right here, you can see his stomach compress in the middle there, and then it kind of expands out a little.
Yeah. like the locomotion of his just body just going.
Yeah.
I really appreciated that in this
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
mean, it's a very little thing, but it just adds to it that he is a huge dinosaur.
I think that's going to be an awesome thing throughout the entire movie, because obviously they're going to have that gravity of all of the dinosaurs.
All of the characters.
And I think that is I mean, that's one of the basics, that you have to do, is the weight has to feel accurate to what the item is. So if it's a bouncing ball, obviously it's going to appear lighter than if it's a giant dinosaur that weighs several tons.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay, in fact, I'm going to go back to the trailer, because Jeff was kind of mentioning a few more things in here as it kind of progressed after Arlo gets swept away. So we've got the wave a-coming. Love that with the final eyebrow raise there, run. And then this, just the swirling. I can't wait to see this whole scene to get just the full sense of it and how terrifying that it can be.
Yeah, that's just beautiful.
Yeah. So, okay, and then you get here, and let's just stop here for a moment. Oh my goodness. I mean, is this scene, I mean, that's a wonderful photograph.
Oh yeah. Yep.
I mean, just all the different little blotches of green that you've got.
It's the layering of the colors, especially in the water.
Yeah, I mean, leading out here, you've got the browns that go into like the aqua kind of colors. You can definitely feel the sense of the water kind of. This is where it's calming down, but still hitting and happening with all the white that's in there. Just a gorgeous scene. And who was it? Lee Unkrich is the one that tweeted out today that mentioned that Sharon Callahan is the genius behind the lighting in this film, and without a doubt, she's a master, and I can't wait to see more. It's okay. We'll kind of jump out of this for a quick second, and I think Dan, we had you back there. Did you?
Yeah, am I good now?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
We had someone on Twitter say that they can't get enough the shot where it's towards the end of this trailer, so I'm sure we'll get to that in a little bit, where Arlo is leaping over, like onto rocks over the river.
Oh, where it looks like it's about to hit him from the side.
And that comes to us from the Pixarist.
Ah, perfect.
I like that scene too. I thought that was really cool. And that kind of gets to your point of the book ending, doesn't it? Right? With the water and the storming at the front, and then you had that scene at the end, and yeah, that's a really nice tie-in.
For some reason, the first thing I thought of was in Brave. There was that little scene, like in the trailer, where Merida's jumping on Angus, and she's got like the bow drawn, and it kind of goes, and it cuts out like that. It kind of reminded me of that moment. It's obviously hard to not draw parallels to other Pixar films. The other moment that kind of got me is, and we'll get to it too, is the where Arlo and Spot are near the river at night, and they've got the moon up there. It reminded me of that emotional scene in Monsters University where they just have that awesome lighting from the moon as well.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely kind of drew those parallels there. So Dan, since we got you back too, I was asking you as far as your favorite moment. Was there something that kind of caught your eye from the trailer?
Yeah, I love like sweeping shots. For example, like the Define dancing scene in WALL-E, or when the Up House takes Up and Up. Those sweeping shots with the music. So I love the clips from the trailer where they're kind of running along the shoreline. There's the seagulls coming up in the air. They're flying away. He's tossing our Spot into the air with kind of above the clouds so they could see the mountain range, trying to get back home there. And I just love all those shots, and it looks like it's going to be a fantastic sweeping scene, one of the ones that I really kind of cling to.
Okay, so you like those big cinematic type motion scenes where the camera's tracking around something.
Yeah, I do, and it's just beautiful. I love the shots of them in the clouds, and I saw a few minutes of that scene at the expo at the D23 last month, and it's going to be beautiful. The animation and the music and just just the imagery with the clouds. I just thought it was fantastic.
There's so much. There's so much in the clouds. Jim Morris talked about at a Singapore event that he was at that the clouds were completely rebuilt for this film, and that they used them on a lot grander scale. So we'll be talking more about that as well. But definitely it's something that it's cool that you noticed it, because
and I love kind of like the slow motion effect as Spot kind of goes above the clouds in his hair and all his cloth kind of falls in slow motion as he kind of gasps. It's great.
Yeah, I like that where he kind of settles down and his hair lifts up a little bit.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of they slowed it down a bit. It's great.
Yeah. That was, in fact, one of the other scenes that somebody else brought up that they were saying, they weren't sure what they necessarily thought about it, and I'm like, bah.
Yeah, no, seriously, that's gorgeous stuff right there.
Yeah, absolutely. So what about the gags of the trailer? Was there a particular gag, and this one's for you, Julie, that kind of stood out to you as being more funny than another one, or a moment that like you just kind of at least chuckled at or whatever?
Yes.
You're being cautious again?
I'm being cautious because again I can't say things for a few more days. But yes, there were some gags that I liked. Obviously, we just talked about the shaman Forrest Woodbush. I enjoyed that interaction where he's calling Spot different like silly names.
Right.
And then there's also when Spot and Arlo are blowing into
the holes.
Like the holes in the ground, and all the little furry animals kind of go. I like that. That's a cute thing.
So I will say that is, at least from online.
I know so many people are talking about that, saying how they loved it, how they want to see more. They want to know what an extended scene, because part of it they saw that Spot was laughing. So they want to know what was leading up to it.
Right. Yeah, that is one. So Sergio from the forum, he said he loves when the creatures crawl up Arlo's leg and he freaks out. You see him lift him and kind of try to shake him off. That was one. Aiden, 95 in the forum, he said he loved that too. That one was pretty universal, and when I was watching that, I definitely gave a laugh out loud at that moment as well, where Spot blows in, one pops out, and then Arlo does it, and they all pop out. That was definitely a fun moment. Did you guys feel the same way on that one? So
here's one part. I feel like it expand. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like that this scene was expanded on in this trailer, but the part when Spot bites Arlo's leg to fall over. I feel like this part where you can hear Arlo kind of going like, "Well, are you little?" while he's holding on. That part made me chuckle. I felt that was new. Like we hadn't heard that part before, so I definitely got a chuckle out of that one.
Yeah, I think that was in one of the different TV spots where you can hear him kind of like, he's got his mouth full. Yeah, it's almost like, "Oh, why are you?" Yeah. Yeah, that part definitely was another part that was kind of a hit.
Another one I saw people talking about is another one where Arlo gets bit by Spot.
Right.
I think that's going to be reoccurring.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that gag if it is a reoccurring thing. I think it's fun.
Yeah, I mean it's already reoccurring at least twice, so I'm sure they'll probably throw it in maybe a time or two more.
It feels like it has to, right?
Right. Yeah. At this point.
Right. So Jeff, how about from you, from a humor standpoint, what caught you?
Yeah, I like the critters blowing in the holes and getting the critters out. They kind of remind me a little bit of For the Birds when the wire shoots up and. Say that again, Dan?
Oh, I said it kind of does, kind of when they bounce on the ground.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, yeah, that's totally. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of right away. That's what I thought of.
Yeah.
And we talked about the naming scene. Thought that was really cool. Also, when the T-Rexes are talking and the one's saying, what are they, wrangling up the buffalo or whatever, and he's going in and you're going to do this and blah 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 blah, and Arlo's like, what?
Yeah. Okay, so that was a part that I talked to Julie about because I don't know why it stood out or why it mattered at all, but the way that Arlo says, what? is different, and I'm not even doing it justice right there. It's different than how I've seen like gags in movies now. The kind of pacing of the joke and how it's told and how it comes across is very similar in a lot of movies. I felt like this was just enough different and enough unique that the way he says what wasn't typical, and for some reason, I don't know why, I really liked it. I liked that he really enunciated the T, but it wasn't overdone. I think that one was like how he executed it was perfect.
Yeah, yeah, it was great.
I share a very similar thought with you because you're exactly right. There are so many gags, especially in animated, films geared towards a younger audience, that there are those recurring gags that have kind of been overused and a similar thing. And I thought the same thing, that one almost was, and then it wasn't, because it was such a brilliantly delivered line from the actor and the animation and everything, that I felt that it was actually one of my favorite parts as well.
Okay, good. So I'm glad it wasn't just me that noticed
I
it,
had the
because
same exact thought. It's funny.
yeah, because that's one of the things that comes up a lot is like the one that bothers me that's overused way too much is when a character's talking about another character, and so like if I'm talking about Julie and I'm talking to somebody over here and she goes, "I'm standing right here," or "I hear you."
Yeah. Way overused.
Totally overused. It's used in live action. It's used in sitcoms. It's used in animation. That one drives me bonkers.
You're so right.
So, all right, you have something that came up there. It looked like you had something.
Yeah, we have a couple things.
Cool.
We could save these till the end if you guys want. But Seth from Twitter says, do you guys think there's going to be an Easter egg mentioning or including a cameo of Rex for Toy Story 4? And then he also wants to know our thoughts on the Oscar race for Inside Out, or the awards race for Inside Out and Good Dinosaur.
All right, so I'm gonna.
We could save those to the end.
Well, no, that's fine. We can talk about it now. I'm gonna go right to the Oscar one. I'm just gonna put it out there. You guys can tell me if I'm way off base, but I'm not even gonna speculate until I can see the entire film.
I agree. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I mean, because obviously.
We'll another hangout with that in mind, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, because I think naturally you're gonna say Inside Out, but we've seen it, and it's unfair to say anything else about the Good Dinosaur, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then the other one was about
the Easter egg cameo because Rex the dinosaur from Toy Story, and because Toy Story 4 will be coming up after Dory.
Okay, I would love it if there was some way that they could sneak in a Rex. I don't know, is it too cheesy? Is it too typical? I don't know. What are your guys' thoughts on this? Jeff, what do you think?
I thought about that for a while. That was the first thing that came into my mind, like a Rex reference. But again, you'd have to make sure you do it right, or just figuring out the right way to do it.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Jeff, what do you think?
Maybe I could say maybe in the credits, during the credits.
Okay.
Something, over the credits, maybe throw in something funny there, because then it's just funny. So.
I don't think there will be.
You think there will be?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then that leaves it to Dan. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm torn. I really don't think there will be, because like you said, TJ, that might be a bit too obvious as a gag, and they might not want to go there. And it does seem like it doesn't really fit the tone, I feel, of The Good Dinosaur from what I've seen. But then I also thought of Jeff's comment, and I thought the same thing a second before he said it, was I could maybe see in the credits, if they try to pull something kind of light and funny, maybe some cave drawings of Rex, and it's just like really brief, and it's not in your face at all. Maybe something subtle like that, but not full-blown, I don't think.
I like it, because then it's not going to take you out of the movie. Because, yeah, if we see it all of a sudden, a Rex, it doesn't matter what point of the movie it's going to be, everybody's going to go, "Oh, a Rex!"
Well, see, my whole thing is Rex is a toy. He's not a real dinosaur. So you can't make a toy a dinosaur in another film, because The Good Dinosaur, they're real dinosaurs. You can't take this,
They could have toys.
No.
No, and I agree, Julie. I mean, it's probably not going to happen. If anything, it would be so subtle and not noticeable at all.
So I'll settle on the fact that I want to see it, but I want to see it as something super subtle that you have to watch multiple times to see it in the background or hidden somewhere.
I agree.
That's where I settle on it. But Seth, since you asked the question on Twitter, I want to know what you think. Do you think there will be one? So, all right. Let's see what else we have here. The gags. Okay.
Well, I haven't said the animation that I really, really liked, and I'm like itching because
Okay.
it was actually in this trailer.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, the scene where I'm trying to get my words so I don't say stuff.
Can we pull it up?
No, it's okay.
Too late.
It's the where Arlo and Spot are at the river.
Okay.
It is the animation of Spot in particular. It's this scene right here.
Oh, Julie, you're. Oh,
It is.
with
It
the
is.
spot?
It is Spot's face when he does. Whoo!
Oh, you were gonna go where I was gonna go.
Oh, you did that. First
away.
off, you did that noise just like he does it.
See,
Right there.
I'm glad
It is-
you took that moment because you did that way better than I could have.
Yeah. It is the subtle shake of Arlo's face and his head.
Spot.
Yes, sorry, Spot. In the noise he makes, I don't know if it's because our son makes the same noise,
He
but
does.
the animation of this particular moment is literally the second best animated thing I've seen on Good Dinosaurs, and the first one is the Rainbow Gecko that I saw.
Yeah, we talked about that in the first trailer. You
trailer.
loved that then too.
This is my second favorite moment. This little animation that is done, that subtle moment, I think is so perfect. How he just goes down a little. That's my favorite moment.
All right.
Sorry, I really wanted to share that with you guys.
No, that's fine. So Dan, you were thinking the same thing?
Yeah. She explained it better though, but I love, I love that moment. I was gonna bring it up with the gags. It's not really a gag. It's more of a character moment. But I love that, and I'm gonna add. And I've seen it in another spot. So it wasn't. I'm not using Spot as his name, but in another TV spot. I've seen that moment, but I love it every time. It's when he kind of gives Arlo a little pat, like, it's okay, I understand.
Oh.
I love it. It gets me every time, and it's not a gag, but it kind of is. It's more of a character moment, but I love it, and it's so subtle, and it's so cute. I love that shot, too, that you have up.
Oh, I mean, this is just gorgeous with the water going in the background there, and it's so out of focus. But you can tell, like, Arlo says, oh, you don't understand, and I love the slow, like, head down here as he's like, okay, the eyes drop a little, and this is where I want Giovanni's take on this too. But like, if I was thinking about animating this as somebody that doesn't do this all the time, my first inclination would be to drop the eyes a lot more than that, to drop their line of sight. And I love the fact that it's just so subtle that he just drops them just a little bit. I think it actually works better than if he dropped his eyes all the way down to the sand.
See, to me, the way that he's not dropping his eyes is kind of like despair.
Yeah, I think it would give a whole different feeling if he dropped them too much more.
Yeah, I feel like if he dropped them down far, it would almost be kind of too dramatic. But because he kept kind of just staring off into space, it's despair. It's just like...
Oh, all right, okay.
It's deeper.
All right, so what's your take on this, Giovanni?
It's a they always say less is more. Less is more is a big phrase we use, and that's a shot that really exemplifies it completely. And I totally agree with what you guys are saying about the eyes. That it's really well done.
Okay. Yeah. So then here's that moment that Dan mentioned too, and yeah.
Same with the eyes.
Yeah.
I love that. He's just that's just adorable. I mean, you can't. Who could say anything about this? I mean, look at that.
I know. Oh my goodness. I mean, and I'll say it for the sound design team, that pat noise. If it wasn't so like, you get the sense that he's just this solid dinosaur that's got a little bit of like a wetness to him, to his skin or whatever. There's something just so perfect about it, and they amped it up just right.
Mm-hmm.
So, what was the other thing? Okay, talking about Spot, I want to go back. Where does he headbutt?
It's at the beginning.
Yeah, so it's here. It's where he first comes across him. Okay. So he headbutts this lizard creature and then shows that he's all happy about it by turning into a dog. All right. I'm going to pull it off sharing here for a second. It's one of the other largest kind of areas of consternation that people have talked about is that the dog-like quality. Has it been done too much? How do you guys feel as far as your interpretation of Spot being dog-like? We'll go Dan.
Okay. That's a tough one because I wasn't when the original idea surfaced. I wasn't totally sold on it, honestly, because I don't know, something kind of rubs me the wrong way when I see humans acting like dogs, like they're kind of dumb. I didn't want the humans to be totally dumb in this, but I haven't seen the movie, and I have a feeling Spot's gonna have a character arc. I think he's gonna grow and he's gonna develop, and I think he's gonna learn throughout the movie. And I'm excited to see him learn, and I think he will get to a point where he's not the same Spot that we see at the beginning and in the trailers. So I'm kind of excited to see what they do with it, actually.
Oh, I want to share my thoughts so bad.
So it is something that obviously a lot of people are talking about. They talked about the fact that it's been done with horses, whether it be Entangled, Bullseye, Sven from Frozen, or Mr. Jones from Toy Story of Terror. It's something that's been used, but again, I don't have anything else to say. I think Dan said it best. I like the balanced approach that his character arc will drive him to not being this just one-dimensional dog character.
Yeah, he's not just. I have a feeling Pixar is more brilliant enough to not just make him kind of dumb and goofy the whole time. He's gonna have heart. I mean, I trust Pete Sohn so much because he has so much heart himself. And I heard him say, maybe it was at the convention, maybe it was in a different interview, but how much he expressed so much love for the character of Spot, how much he enjoys that character, and if Pete Sohn loves that character so much and he has a special place in his heart for Spot, I think he's going to be a special character.
All right, I like it. I like it. Giovanni or Jeff, any thoughts on that at all?
No way. You guys said that really well.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I think Spot's going to be one of my all-time favorite characters.
All time?
I think so.
Wow.
We haven't seen nothing yet.
And Arlo, but again, I don't know if it's because we have a little boy ourselves, and I see a lot of our son in Spot.
Yeah.
But when Spot is on the screen, I feel like I need a box of Kleenexes next to me.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm really personally attaching myself to this film in a way that I haven't with another Pixar film. Granted, I know a lot of people really attach themselves to Inside Out, but for me personally, I haven't felt this emotionally attached to a film and their characters than The Good Dinosaur.
Wow.
Agreed.
I have a question.
I feel like I'm going to cry.
What were you going to say, Dan?
I was going to just ask you, I know you can't say really much at all, but I was going to just ask, do you see, since you've seen a bit more, do you see, have you thought of that Arlo has almost a Nemo vibe with his age and his voice and his adventure that he goes on? Did you get any of that from him?
I don't know.
Okay. I was just gonna say, because you were talking about how lovable he is and how much you like him, because I love Nemo, and I've drawn so many comparisons with Arlo and Nemo, with the way that they're designed, with the lack of texture and their voices and their age and things like that. But I wondered, if they were similar in any sense, because I could see myself getting very attached to Arlo as well.
This upcoming end of the week, I'm going to share some art that I saw.
Okay.
That may answer your question.
All right, I will look forward to that.
Okay. But the one thing I will say, kind of going along with that a little bit, is the innocence that comes across in Nemo's voice is definitely present in Arlo's voice.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that the decision that was made and this is revealed several months back now when they switched over the voice actor to the new one from Lucas Neff, who was doing it before. You know, Pete Sohn said, "Hey, this Lucas Neff was already a young man. We need a person that's coming into being a young man, and that switch and that innocence is what's going to add to these characters so much and add to the story, I believe, of them." So I'm very excited to hear more of Arlo and see what else his voice does. At first, I wasn't sure. When I first heard that this change was going to be, he was going to be really young, I was like, is that going to be weird? But I
loved it.
Yeah, I was on board because, like I said, the first thing I thought of was Nemo, and I instantly compared him to how much I enjoy it. Like you said, the innocence of Nemo and that young voice. And young actors obviously aren't, they're hard to come by, really great ones. And Pixar is great at finding young actors to play emotional roles like Riley or Nemo or any other ones, like Russell. You know, they've found some great talent out there in the young actors.
Yeah, one I wish I could have heard more of, the young Mike Wazowski too.
Yeah, absolutely. He was great.
Oh.
He was a funny guy. Funny kid.
Love little Mike Wazowski.
All right, so I want to talk a little bit about some more of the moments in a little bit of another look at animation that kind of came along with the trailer. Let's just look at this since we're talking about it here, since we had talked about it. In fact, no, I'm going back. I lied. I'm going to go back one more.
Oh, we had someone. Can I mention something real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so at iMark on Twitter said, Spot acts like a dog, maybe to contrast Arlo's timidness. Like dogs are fearless creatures.
Oh. All right, there you go. It's a nice pairing together.
Yeah, I could see that, especially with the snake scene. That kind of goes along with that.
Absolutely. All right, so here's again a little bit of awesome camera work. So you've got it. You know, you're right in line. It tilts up a little bit, and then it just strafes straight back, and then drops, and then you catch that right into frame. I love here, again, it's kind of an animation thing. You see his nose stretch down. It gives a little bit of that. You still feel it's animation. It doesn't have to be 100% rock-solid, stiff dinosaur. I love the fact that he does this. Then right before he opens his eyes, his nostrils constrict. And then as he walks over him here, and you see his eyes, you know, like the irises constrict there too a little bit. I thought that just subtle stuff.
There are so many things. Like, how do they think of all of these character moments like that? I mean, all these facial expressions. It's just
So watch his iris here. So it goes like, you know, smaller and smaller, and then it bounces. Yeah. It bounces like 1 or 2 frames bigger there at the very end.
Mm-hmm.
My hat's off to the animators, man.
I know, it's so awesome.
They think of everything. I mean, especially not everyone, obviously, but Pixar, especially Pixar animators, they really stretch themselves to get every bit of realism in there as possible.
Yeah, I love this stuff. All right, so obviously this fun gag here where this critter pops out, goes back in. We got
there's a cool screenshot where it's like I think it's in the woods at night. Maybe there's a fire behind them. It's when Spot is kind of on a log. It's really brief. And I think it's near here.
Oh, okay.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right up here with the lightning.
Yes. Right here.
Yeah, that one is really cool.
Yeah, that's like your hero, like kind of like shot, like, you know, you think of like the Mummy in the desert kind of thing going on here.
Yeah, I actually gravitated towards that shot, even though it's really brief. I think it's really cool.
I did too, Dan.
I like it even like washed out like this.
Yeah, with the sand.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. Like it gets like that dirt in there and everything. All right, Thunderclap.
Thunderclap is someone we know very little about, or at least
I know very little. I love the veins that you can see in his wings here. I am in love with the fact that they didn't shy away from the fact that this is a dinosaur film and that there are going to be attacks on dinosaurs. So I love the fact that he gets tackled here and how he comes in with his arms like that, and then this is obviously a different cutscene here, but we've got, you know, where Thunderclap crashes to the ground, and then the camera shake here as you get Butch stomping into frame, God, I love these details.
Can I just say something? This is kind of unrelated again, but it's something I've thought about for a long time, and just you kind of going through the trailer reminded me, is how I love the environment that they decided to put these dinosaurs in. That they're putting them in kind of the west over by Colorado and in that area over there. Because when you see dinosaur movies, you usually see them in the jungle, or you see them on an island, or you see them somewhere other than this. This is like, I think this is one of the very first dinosaur films I can think of that's not necessarily in a jungle environment or an island, but rather in kind of an environment that we know of, like the Colorado landscape. I think that's really cool and different.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's
Yeah, if you love that, Dan, you are gonna love hearing about all of that.
Yeah, like there, that almost looks like Yellowstone, out there. Because I've been to Wyoming and Idaho and Utah and Colorado, and so I'm familiar with those environments. And it's really cool that they captured it so well. It's like I'm there almost.
Yeah, you get some of like the hot springs with the bacteria growing and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And the steam,
It's a great environment.
rising.
Yeah, the steam. Yeah,
Yep.
and some of the broader shots that are out there with that scene.
And then a little later, when that western look to the when they're the buffalo scene and the clouds and the kind of the flat top mountains in the background.
Yeah, so
Oh, man,
here's
I just love that scene.
Yeah.
steam coming off.
There's definitely a Western vibe, and I saw this in the clips, and I got this from the trailer as well. The raptors seem almost like kind of hustlers. The T-Rex are kind of like these rugged cowboys. I definitely feel a very big Western vibe coming from the film as well.
Okay, so speaking of the raptors, so watch how he moves here. He's kind of like snake-like.
Yeah,
Like how he kind of slithers in and out here.
almost like Randall.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So what are your guys' thoughts on the raptors? This is one of the first times that we're seeing more looks at them.
I just wonder if they're going to turn out to be, if the trailer's throwing us off, and if they are going to end up being kind of funny characters, or if they are actual threats to the characters. I know the pterodactyls definitely seem like threats, but I'm not sure about the raptors quite yet, because they're kind of...
I know. I kind of get that sense too. I'm not sure yet.
But I like the look. I know that they had talked about how they did add feathers because I guess new research has proven that they may have had feathers. So I kind of like that detail. And I think they purposely went away from the traditional raptor look that we're used to make it a bit different than what we've seen before.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you think about him, Giovanni?
No, I'm definitely excited for them. I'm really excited to see just how much these characters are in the film, because I know a lot of times I try and judge it based on product beforehand, and see what characters get merchandised more, and sometimes it totally throws you off when you have characters like there's going to be in it a lot, but then they're just totally in it for a quick second, and that's about it. So I'm really curious to see just exactly how long and what important roles these characters are going to play. Definitely the Raptors too.
Yeah.
So if they'll be in it for like that one return, then I'm really a lot. So
yeah, I'm obsessed with the fact that they get caught in Butch's teeth here. Like I already said it, I don't need to say it again. I love the fact that there are 3 moments where dinosaurs are going after other dinosaurs. It feels like that's a level of I would expect that that's going to happen in a dinosaur world. It's
and in that I think it's the big Golden Book cover. There's that little image in the corner with the raptors kind of picking their teeth with the bones.
yes.
And so there is going to be some of that. You can't have really a dinosaur movie without dinosaur attacks and dinosaur skeletons and kind of. It looked like there was kind of a decomposing dinosaur and they were kind of picking through it. So that's kind of gritty.
Right. I guess just to round it out, Jeff, what were your thoughts on the raptors?
I'd only kind of seen that maybe once, so I don't know if I have anything really more to add than what you guys have already said.
That's cool.
I do really like that. I mean, the raptors are dinosaurs, and like we've been talking about the threats from the dinosaurs, but it's also this whole environment kind of being a big threat also to the characters. I just really enjoy that.
Yeah, absolutely. Pete Zone had said that, early on that, the landscape is the threat, is the antagonist of this film. So it's just super, super cool. Obviously, yeah, we've seen this scene. We don't need to show it again and get all sad going again.
Something I want to touch on. What do you guys think of Butch's and the other T-Rex's voice? Because I think it's kind of cool, his deep, almost rugged cowboy voice. What did you guys think of that?
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, you like the voice choice there?
Yep.
That's Sam Elliott, right?
Say
yes. Yeah, he said it was Sam Elliott that does his voice.
Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, what I associate him with is the movie Tombstone.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately see his kind of lead, kind of outlaw, kind of cowboy role from that. So absolutely.
Yeah, I like his lines. I like when he says, "You ain't scared, you ain't alive."
I like the reenactment of it too.
Well, thank you.
Any
We
other?
had a Twitter question from our friends over at Pixar Brazil blog
Awesome.
asking us if
Hello, Luis.
Yes, asking us if we have seen the Brazilian trailer. So we kind of mentioned that really early in this hangout, but yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it at the top of the hour. We decided we weren't gonna touch on it. We have a couple of us that don't want to be.
We saw it.
Yeah, that we don't want to be spoiling a couple things. So, but definitely, if you're not avoiding spoilers, if you just want to see another trailer that's out there, take Luis's advice from Pixar Brazil blog and check out the Brazilian.
Yeah, it does show a lot of great new footage, but it shows a lot.
Yes, and one of our friends left in the. If you go to our site pixarpost.com, you can find the link to the trailer, the Brazilian version. It's in the comments of the trailer that was released domestically today for North America. So you can check it out that way. But it's worth a watch if you're not avoiding spoilers.
You guys are gonna read the books in a week, aren't you?
Well, there's no reason for Julie not to.
You guys don't know what I've seen, what I haven't.
Yeah, that's
the little golden book and the junior novel and the sticker book, and you're gonna know everything, aren't you?
Yeah.
I know it.
Yeah.
When does the Art of book come out?
That's not for more closer towards the film, I believe.
It's in November,
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
November time frame.
Okay.
November 3rd or something. It's November something.
Right. Yep. But
That's a must right there.
yeah, the rush of the other books that are going to be coming out from Random House and
October 13th.
Little Golden Books and all those.
That's next week.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Man.
Crazy. Be right upon us here.
I mean, I'm still just kind of coming off of the Inside Out high,
I know, really.
Well, this one is ramping up so quickly. Yikes.
Yeah, especially because we now have not only the film coming out, Good Dinosaur coming out in theaters, but then we also have the release on Blu-ray and digital for Inside Out as well. So yeah, it definitely is one of these. It's the first time that as fans we've had to emotionally deal with these two competing films at the same time.
Then we're gonna have the teaser for Dory probably on the Good Dinosaur too.
I know, because then it's like as soon as Good Dinosaur happens, it's like 7 months later, Dory's here.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
almost the same time frame between films again.
it's like, I feel like we're being spoiled, but guys, I was good with
time to be a Pixar
1
fan.
year.
Yeah, it is a good time for it, but yeah, I kind of go back and forth. I mean, obviously, like from a consumption standpoint,
I love it.
more is good, but yeah,
From a merchandise standpoint, I'm not gonna have any money left.
Exactly.
Well, hey, you're the one that started your site that's all about merchandise, so
I am not complaining. I love it, but I'm just saying it's kind of true.
So what else about this trailer is out there? Is there anything else that we want to cover on? Was there anything else from an animation standpoint, lighting, characters, anything else that we didn't cover that was out there? We'll jump to Giovanni first and see if there was anything else that you wanted to touch on.
Oh geez, I just really love the scope of the landscape. I just love how we have these really big characters, but then you just have this. I know we talked about the landscape and everything already, but that's something I've just really enjoyed a lot with seeing the trailers. Just this huge landscape, these already huge characters characters. I just feel like it's a really exciting ride throughout the whole thing. So really, really looking forward to it.
Absolutely, absolutely, without a doubt. Anything else from your perspective, Dan, that we should touch on or discuss?
No, I'm kind of in the same boat. I think I touched on every moment that I wanted to hit on. Again, I'm really impressed. I'm excited. I see Pixar has really blown it out of the park with these trailers. Inside Out trailer was fantastic, and the Good Dinosaur trailer has been fantastic. I think these are some of the best trailers we've gotten from Pixar before. And when I see the Good Dinosaur trailer in theaters amongst all these other cartoons that are coming out, not to bash them, kind of bash them, but I mean, it just looks so much classier and so much cleaner than what else is out there. And the trailers for these Pixar films this year have really stood out among the crowd, and I'm excited to see what happens at the end of the year with the Oscars and with the Good Dinosaur and everything coming up after that.
Absolutely,
Is
absolutely.
it weird that I'm really excited for the visual effects nominations this year?
No,
Not at all.
that's one of my favorite nominations.
For both Inside
category.
Out and Good Dinosaur, it is going to be like, they do live broadcast those, right?
Do they include animated films in the visual effects category?
For the Oscars specifically, or are we talking like?
Oh no, just for the VFX awards.
Oh, okay, I got you.
VFX awards.
Yeah, sorry, not the Oscar race.
VFX. I don't think that they
can't
do
remember.
those. I know they do. They broadcast the Annie Awards. I know those are live stream. VFX we'll have to pay closer attention to. But yeah, I mean, with the amount of water that we're seeing in these river scenes and everything, it's going to be, I mean, just a phenomenal movie to watch the effects on. And then obviously we saw a couple screenshots earlier last week with the fire scene, the campfire scene, where we've got Butch, Arlo, and a couple of the other T-Rexes kind of sitting around there talking. And I mean, that's just going to be another.
Oh, I can't wait to share more information. I feel like I didn't say anything.
You're going to explode between now and whenever it is.
Oh, I'm like sitting on the edge of my seat. You guys are saying stuff, and I'm like.
We'll have to have a special Hangout edition.
Yeah, I guess so. And you can release it. It's going to feel so much better when you can do that.
Oh my gosh.
It'll be like a therapy session.
Seriously.
Well, I understand because I saw Inside Out with my wife in New York City a full 3.5 weeks before it even hit theaters. It was only the second screening that had been shown to the public. Maybe it was one of the first or second. And during those 3 weeks around my family and with everybody else, it drove us nuts that we couldn't talk about it. We just wanted to share it with everybody. We were so excited. We couldn't say anything. We were kind of like whispering in the corner. Like, well, my family was like kind of like, what are they whispering about over there? It's like, oh, we can't say anything. So I totally hear where you're coming from. It drives me nuts.
It's ruining family relationships. They think you're all talking about them.
Yeah. It's not you. It's not you. We're just talking about Inside Out.
I just want to share like some really geeky insights.
Well, you'll be able to. Coming soon.
Yeah.
This is your little teaser for next time.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jeff, how about your perspective? Anything else on the trailer that you wanted to touch on or that stood out for you?
No, I think we've really covered it. What about the music? I did notice I liked the music, I guess, in the second half of the trailer. I mean, I noticed it more and thought it was some really nice music to it, kind of more of that majestic or I don't know. I caught my attention, so
yeah, absolutely.
I'm excited to hear more of that.
There was Aiden in the forum. He mentioned that he thought that there was a part where the snake-like creature was getting headbutted by Spot. He said that sounded like it was a couple moments from Finding Nemo, and I went and listened to the soundtrack right after he said that, and I was like, yeah, I could see that. It's not, but it sounds like it does because it has something like that, the xylophone that's in there. And some of the vibes that kind of go along with it.
Yeah.
And the majestic stuff had been used in a previous TV spot or one of the trailers. So we had heard it before. Maybe that's why it also stood out. But because it's been used twice now or 3 times, I wonder where that comes from or if that is a bit of the score. Because I know with Inside Out, as we got closer, one of the final trailers, one of the foreign trailers, actually used the main theme from Michael Giacchino in the trailer. And so I know usually as movies get closer, they do start using scores from the actual film. So I wonder if any of that was included here.
Yeah, that's right. Because that scene in the Inside Out trailer where Riley was first born was like
Right.
That was the only bit that was actually from Michael Giacchino. The rest of it was,
Exactly. Generic. Yeah.
generic. Yeah, or however you want to say. Yeah, made for trailer music.
Yeah. So,
I
but I
guess.
wonder if any kind of small snippets were from what's his name, Michael Dana.
Exactly, right. And you had obviously called out on the last trailer that or was it from one of the teasers?
His brother too.
Yeah, it was the teaser trailer, and that was part of his Life of Pi soundtrack. Yeah.
Right, that was used from that. Right, yeah, and it's Michael and his brother, is it John, that are doing the score for The Good Dinosaur. I tend to feel, I don't have anything to base this on, but I tend to feel that the score that we're seeing in this trailer is not the actual score.
Yeah, I agree. I just wonder, only because sometimes it does happen where little snippets are put in closer on to the movie with several trailers I've seen. But I agree, none of the stuff I've seen in the trailer gives me that feel quite yet. So.
Right.
I'm excited. You know me, I'm a film score nut, and I'm so excited to hear Michael's work on this. I'd never really heard anything he's done except for Life of Pi, and even I had never heard it until I heard he was doing this, so I listened to it.
It's definitely going to be a change. I'm interested for it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you there, Dan.
No, that was done.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I'm really excited for it because he's definitely, first off, obviously not one of the ones that are commonly used by Pixar, being, Randy Newman, Thomas Newman, Michael Giacchino.
He's also doing Sanjay's Super Team.
Right.
Right, and he's doing the music for Sanjay's Super Team. I was going back and I was thinking when they announced, or when we heard that the Dana brothers were going to be doing the short as well as the feature film.
Yeah, you were skeptical about that.
I was, because we had heard it,
Yeah.
but there wasn't any more news about it for a while. But I was like, has there been a movie that a composer has done the short and the feature film for the same one? And there has.
There has.
And Partly Cloudy.
Look at this guy. He's got it right there.
I was going to say, what about One Man Band? What did that play in front of?
One Man Band.
That's my favorite one too. That was Michael Giacchino.
It was Michael Giacchino.
Was it in front of The Incredibles?
No, The Incredibles had, I believe The Incredibles had Bounden in 2004.
Okay.
Wow, look at this. Isn't it just terrible that, like,
You know what's crazy? And we just played a game. I have this game that we play to put all of the short films with the films that it goes with, and the directors.
Yeah, we have like
and the producers.
She created a whole thing on note cards, like 3x5 cards.
So it has producer, director, composer, and the film and the year.
And
the feature film.
Not only the year, was it nominated or did it win an award?
Yeah. I created this whole game, and we were playing it before I went, but obviously our minds are fried.
I want to say that One Man Band was with Ratatouille in 2007.
I was with Cars.
Oh, was it?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess that one didn't line up with the composers there.
Right.
It was directed by Mark Andrews.
We know you like Mark Andrews.
I do like One Man Band. That's a great one.
Yeah.
But what did you look up, just so I could get it off my mind, what was Bounden with The Incredibles? Did you see that?
No, I didn't look. We didn't look that way.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to fact check me, so I'm not saying weird stuff that's not true.
Yeah.
That's okay.
It's sad that as the Pixar experts, we're not keeping this straight, though. There are three of us that are considered experts on the call, and a super fan that's here too.
I know, that's terrible.
I think that Bounden is. I think I put Bounden is before Incredibles because I think I always matched together that again Bud Lucky's in both.
Okay, so I didn't lose my credibility there.
Bounden, but he's also plays in Incredibles, and that's why I think I've always linked it.
Yeah.
There you go. Cool.
So I can withhold my status then.
There you go. So as we wrap up here, obviously I want to thank everybody for watching along, but before we completely sign off, Dan, just give a quick little overview on your site and what you do.
Yeah, if you guys are, I mean, obviously if you're listening, you're a Pixar fan probably, or an animation fan. I'm a big merchandise collector for Pixar. I collect just about anything I can get my hands on, and I blog about it. I do a post a day with an item from my collection, and I just kind of let you guys know what is cool that's out there Pixar related as far as merchandise. And yeah, you can visit danthepixarfan.com and check that out.
Fantastic. And then Giovanni, was there anything that you wanted to throw out there as far as a little bit about? Tell us about you. What's your background here? What are you doing in school and all that?
I go to the College for Creative Studies in Detroit, Michigan. I am a 3D character computer animator major, so that's what my focus is. Of course, my dream is to work for Pixar. Very passionate about that, and yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic, and we hope to see you there one day for sure.
Hey Giovanni, can you be my connection someday?
Dan, let's keep it classy.
Just kidding.
And let's not get preemptive here. You know, Giovanni has some work to do.
Oh, I know. Giovanni's gonna make it though. I have high hopes for him.
Putting a lot of pressure on him.
Yeah, oh gosh.
I know. Look at this.
No dreams too big.
Oh, we got.
I want to direct one day.
Julie's gonna make a short film someday, and it's gonna have that message.
There you go. Yeah. We've got like the Winds of Change motivational poster back here.
It's true. I'm total Winds of Change.
Yeah. Okay, Jeff, and then let's give a little background as far as your site and yourself as well.
Yeah, so I'm at thisdayinpixar.com, and I do not write a post a day like Dan, but when I do write posts, I try to focus on the history of the company and the artists that make up the company, so focusing maybe on some of their outside of office work, things like that. But.
Fantastic. All right, well, certainly thank you guys again for joining. We certainly look forward to hearing more from Julie as the week progresses.
Me too. The first post isn't going to be about the good dinosaur, but it's awesome. It was an incredible, crazy experience that was like a first. That's all I can say.
All right. All right.
Now, I hope it lives up.
I know. She's really selling it.
I need to start writing my notebook and start typing it on the computer, though.
Yeah, so that way I can be ready to go because that's going to creep up on you. All right, well, thanks again for everybody that joined. Thanks again for the comments that came through using the hashtag and in emails. And, of course, if you have any type of additional comments after the fact, feel free to leave them on this YouTube video. You can leave it on the post that'll be on our site, or send us an email, info@pixarpost.com. And if you like our site, you'll certainly love our podcast. Head to iTunes, Stitcher, Overcast, whatever your method is to listen to a podcast, and look up Pixar Post Podcast. We do a ton of interviews with Pixar employees. We talk about the news as it comes out.
We have a ton coming up.
And we absolutely have a ton coming up from The Good Dinosaur as well. So thank you again, everybody, for joining. And until the next broadcast, be sure to stay tuned to PixarPost.com all week for the latest Pixar news. Bye-bye.
Bye.